Okay, great. So I'm working with Dr. Lewis Porter at Rutgers and just doing a paper on a bit about the Philadelphia jazz scene. And it sounds like from talking to some of the other musicians who were in the class who've played in that scene that it was really vibrant in the neighborhoods through till the 1980s. But Greg Buford, the one drummer I've been talking to, thought maybe that had fallen off. And I'm looking at the West Oak Lane Jazz Festival kind of struggling. But then I'm seeing what you're doing with the jazz orchestra, and I see that there's also a Philly Jazz Project. And I wonder if you could talk about that. Like, is it a vibrant scene? Was it in decline? Is it coming back?
I think there was an incredible vibrant scene when I first came to Philadelphia. Here with Shirley Scott, playing at Orleans, it was an incredible scene. And they did have, Mellon Bank used to sponsor festivals, and Pico Energy sponsor festivals, and so things are really, really great. And then I'm not really sure what happened when it happened, but Mellon went under, and some of the banks like TD are coming back to support some events, but no major festivals as of yet. So yeah, I think the scene was somewhat disjunct, and musicians were, every musician, instead of, to me, working together to build a scene up, everyone was kind of working against each other, trying to get as many gigs as possible in a scene that wasn't offering any gigs. And then there was lack of venues. Venues were being mismanaged, I felt. So like Zanzibar Blue closed, and Orleans closed. The only real venue is Chris's, and there are a few other smaller ones in town that are doing fairly well now. But so things are starting to pick up. There's a 23rd Street Cafe, or 21st Street, I think it's 23rd Street Cafe, that's coming along, and there's another room on Sampson. The name is escaping me right now.
Okay.
But the students here at Temple are finding ways to get out and play, which is really great. And for the jazz orchestra, my concept was to just find a way to bring musicians together. When I moved here, when I was playing with Shirley Scott and Mickey Rope and all of those, there was such a strong sense of community. Everyone would just come together, and we'd go to Shirley's jam session. It was great. So I felt that, by starting this orchestra for Philadelphia musicians, either people that are here or people that were born or raised here and are elsewhere, could come back and do this, would bring about a community again and provide an environment not only for people to play, but provide an environment for students to come and observe and to learn from great musicians about what it is in the business, what do you do to prepare for concerts, for improv, for reading, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how the orchestra has been functioning, and we've been going out and working in the community with kids who have never had any instruction and working with different bands so that we can just provide a future for this music in Philadelphia. And my goal is that from funding sources, if people see that there is a group and there is a community, I think people will be more amenable to fund and to give money for such a purpose. So maybe there could be more clubs popping up, and maybe there could be a festival that would at least run for 2 or 3 years with consistent and stable funding.
That's great. Now you're based in New York, though, right? You're world renowned, and I know I was going to email you a couple weeks ago. You were in Europe, so are you able to devote yourself to the Philadelphia scene, or is it that part of being a jazz musician that you're just out and about and traveling, I guess?
Yeah, well, I live in Jersey, so I'm about 45 minutes from Philadelphia, and about an hour or so from New York. So my teaching job here at the university is about 3 days a week. So that's what I'm director of jazz and chair of the classical program, and that keeps me busy enough here at school. But it also keeps me in the community, and conductor of the All City Band here in Philadelphia, and so I do invest a lot of time into the city and to the scene here. I try to stay as connected as possible. That's always really difficult, but I do my best to stay as connected as possible here in the city. And then, I do perform in Europe quite a bit in other places, but I do consider Philadelphia, my work environment. This is where I work. This is where my community.
I mean, knowing I'm from Philadelphia, and just also reading up about jazz history and jazz history in Philadelphia. Philadelphia suffers from that proximity to New York in lots of ways where, if you're in Philadelphia and you're world class, you can get to New York pretty easily. So,
Yep.
I don't know if you
And
can.
that's really benefited me here at the university, to tell you the truth, because what I can offer the students here at Temple is the same as a student would get at Manhattan School of Music or Juilliard. It's just, third of the price or half the price.
That's a great advertisement.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, a lot of the guys here, I was just walking up because I had to get to my office. I was just leaving the meeting, and Ben and the three guys from New York who, are here, and I bring musicians down from New York all the time to work with the students, master classes and things. So it's kind of a, we advertise Temple as a liberal arts college with a conservatory setting and expectations.
Just catching up with what you're saying. Okay. I think sometimes when people look at jazz history, they talk about the 19-teens through the 1960s, and then they kind of falls off. And it seems like be the same with Philly. Like they get to Coltrane, and then they stop talking about it. But a lot of great musicians continue to come out of Philadelphia. It sounds like to me, like Christian McBride.
Joey DeFrancesco, the Eubank brothers, great bass player now who's tearing things up, Derek Hodge.
What's Derek Hodge, he said?
Yeah.
Derek Hodge.
It's just so many fabulous, Jaleel Shaw.
Jaleel Shaw.
Jaleel Shaw, S-H-A-W. His name is Roy Haynes.
I'm sorry, Haynes?
Roy Haynes, the drummer Roy Haynes.
Oh, Roy Haynes, yeah. Great.
Just fabulous music. George Burton is another one who's really making a name for himself.
Great. All right, thank you. I know you're busy, so you probably have to go, but this is really helpful to me.
No worries. If you need anything else, just let me know.
I will. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.